All right, what is going on, everyone? Sauce here with Wrestling is Cinema. And today we are actually checking out for the first time. I did not know that The Undertaker actually had a podcast. So we are checking out 6 Feet Under. He's actually discussing why the Brothers of Destruction did not last. And I was super interested in this because whenever I was growing up, one of my favorite tag teams that I didn't think would ever end was the Brothers of Destruction, which was The Undertaker and Kane. And I don't know if anybody else was like this, but whenever I was younger, obviously I believed a lot more of wrestling and the storylines and stuff. So I actually legitimately believed that they were brothers for a while. I know. I'm not upset about that. And part of the reason why is because I was young and dumb and I didn't realize what wrestling was all about. Didn't realize it was all about the storylines and everything. But man, they tore a path throughout all of the WWE, and their tag team is one of my favorite tag teams of all time just because of how OP they were. So, with all that being said, we're going to check out and see what Mark Calaway says about it. If you have not yet, please make sure that you subscribe. Subscribe to 6 Feet Under with Mark Calaway. I am actually planning on subscribing. I have not subscribed yet. Actually, let's go ahead and do that now. Boom, subscribed. And if you also like this video, make sure you drop a like, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And then hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for post notifications so you know anytime I post a video. I try to do these pretty frequently because I am a huge wrestling fan, but that's all this channel is going to entail is all wrestling content. So if you enjoy wrestling content, please make sure that you follow along. All right, we're just trying to build up this community and everything. So with all that being said, let's get into it, shall we? All right, so we actually have this at the 2-minute mark, 2-minute-ish, and part of the reason why is because they were talking about some giveaway prior, and yeah, I would much rather hear about these stories. So with all that being said, let's get into it, shall we?
When did that first conversation start with, hey, let's do something together?
Well, after a while, it just becomes natural. We had run for that part of our. We had battled each other. We had our WrestleMania match. We had the Inferno match. I think we had
and that was a banger match.
We had pretty much gone through the one-on-one.
The introduction of Kane was just so good, so good.
And then it just kind of become like a natural. Like, can you imagine these two together? And
right,
we were just kind of in that situation where it happened, and
that is so awesome.
We got put together, and it was just
it was
a good duo. I mean, that's the thing.
It was awesome, but it was too awesome.
Yeah,
I could agree with that. So one of the main reasons why this is really tough is because thinking back on it now, it must have been so tough as a booker to sit there and say, who do we book against the Brothers of Destruction? Because they're just two huge dudes that have this aura about them. They're superstars, megastars at this point. And so it's just like, how do you do it? How do you do it?
There's nobody who matches up to two guys with two giants.
Yeah.
One throws lightning and the other one throws fire. I mean,
oh my God.
How do you match anybody up against that?
Yeah.
You don't. And that was so the thing that made it so cool and so ominous and dominant was also the reason why it didn't last any longer than it did.
That makes
because
sense.
They just couldn't book anybody with us.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to kill. We had to kill everybody.
It just kills the story.
None of it doesn't make sense if you've got a tag team that's, combined weight of 300 pounds. That's
facing a combined weight of almost 700 pounds. Yeah, it just doesn't. I mean, the math doesn't add up.
No.
And yeah, it was. Man, we just.
I bet they had so much fun with that
everybody,
too.
And we end up getting the tag belts. And then,
well, of course,
the WWE tag belts, and then the WCW guys came over, which I think was DDP.
Oh wow, I forgot about that.
Chris Canyon, I believe they had.
That was
WCW
a great storyline, by the way, in my opinion.
So then we had to
the
have
WCW Invasion storyline. So good.
The unification match.
Unification. Yep.
Yeah, you guys were 3-time tag team champions.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, seriously, it was fun. It was fun
don't
doing
doubt that one
pre-tapes
bit.
together and vignettes together. It was a lot of fun, and it wasn't much work because we just were so physically dominant over everybody that we pretty much had our way.
Yep.
And it was.
And that's where it's also with both of y'all. This is what's always been kind of interesting whenever you bring two guys together that were singles, for singles
true,
wrestlers
too.
for most of their career.
Right.
Come together, especially two guys like y'all, where all
You
of a
don't
sudden
really see
now,
that a whole lot.
who's going to finish this match? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, who's going to do the sell and who's going to get the hot tag?
well,
or-
yeah. Like, who's gonna get the finisher? Who's gonna get to pin the guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's true,
who's gonna
'cause
get
they were
that
both big
glory? You know what I
superstars.
mean? Like, especially with you two, right?
And I'll tell you, Glenn he always volunteered to sell
Oh, wow.
and give me the hot tag. It wasn't even.
that makes sense.
The only argument that we ever had was on the times where I wanted him to get the hot tag.
Because there's a lot of wrestlers that
And
really
he's
enjoy
like-
selling.
No, he said they don't
That's
pay.
a
They don't
big mark
pay
for them.
They pay to see your
Mark
they
Calaway.
pay to see your hot tag, and you get your hand raised. I said, no, man, it's just a team deal. He
Yeah.
goes,
I mean, the Undertaker was
I
the
said,
main
"Oh."
attraction.
you come make the comeback. That was just kind of.
Wow.
That's how unselfish he was. Where there was a lot of
Man.
people in that same boat would have like, well, let's
I
go
really
back
wish I
and
knew this
forth,
whenever I was
switch
younger.
it off night after night.
Yeah.
Kane
which I
apparently was
willing
just
to
a
do.
great dude. Still is a
He
great dude.
didn't. He just he obviously part of that was he was grateful. I think for the help that I'd given him. And then also who the Undertaker character was as far as the company. But he was a workhorse, dude, and his ego was always on a shelf somewhere, and whatever was best for business, that's what he did. And
Wow.
he did it great.
What a great dude. What a great dude.
That says a lot about him to do that.
You're not gonna find a better human being than Glenn Jacobs.
Wow.
Dude, I've got one story on him that I can tell, and even that isn't bad. I mean, it really isn't. It's nothing other than him, being a little bit, tiny bit, maybe overserved. But one night in over 25 years. Other
That's
than that,
nuts.
dude, he is just like first on the bus, ready to go.
And you don't
first
really
in the
see
arena,
that.
first guy to
don't
get
really see
sit
that
down
anymore.
and go over, figure out what's going to happen in the match. He's just a consummate professional, and just a pleasure. Honestly, God,
'Cause a lot of
it's
dudes
boring
were
to almost keep
pieces
putting
of
him over,
crap
but
back in the day.
that's who he was.
Back in this time
and
period,
who he is.
the Attitude Era.
And it was just a lot of fun, though, man. You think about it. You go back and look at the Undertaker and Kane, and you look through some of the powerhouse tag, like who comes to mind usually for the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
We
That's
dwarfed
true.
the Road Warriors. I mean, the Road Warriors were jacked up and big dudes. We dwarfed them.
If Brothers of Destruction went, had a 10, 15-year career together where y'all were just a tag team, you know what I
Right.
mean? Do you go down as the greatest tag team of all time?
I think
100%.
so.
100%.
I mean, yeah.
who are you going to book against them?
Obviously, there's teams out there that can do different things, but as far as a dominant tag team,
Yeah,
like I said,
absolutely not.
there's nobody that matched up with us.
Nobody.
Just-
Nobody
there
matches
was
up with the
no-
aura.
If you think about it, and I may be
Hardy
completely
Boys,
wrong
no.
because
Dudley
there's
Boys,
a lot
no.
of those years that
Edge and
I was
Christian, no.
not watching wrestling, but are y'all the last kind of main event tag team that
Ooh.
WWE kind of had?
Nah.
I mean, as a tag team, maybe. I mean,
Like full-on
we
tag
had-
team?
They did some judicious booking there in the Attitude era where they would create they would create tag teams just to kind of take it easier on the top guys.
Yeah, I mean, like you've had The Rock and all.
What an
Stone
interesting
Cold
thought.
working against.
But I mean,
somebody
you guys could headline a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Because that
I think
means
so.
that these
Yeah.
top guys aren't
And that's
putting their
what
bodies
I
as
think
much on the
problem
line
was-
because
the
there's somebody
problem
else to
was
help
finding
sell.
opponents.
Well, I was about to say,
Oh, huh.
it's the biggest problem there. Is
Dude, I
who
just
you're
not
gonna
thought about
wrestle
that.
on
I
that
mean,
main
if we
event.
weren't wrestling a Stone Cold and a Rock, and
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to stand much of a chance. It's just the way it is.
That's true.
And
It would have been fun though to see y'all as a tag team wrestling the likes of like the Road Warriors, right? Like during
man, that
their
would have been so good.
prime.
oh yeah, that would have been fun.
And even like a Demolition, that would have been fun
Yeah.
because those guys could go as well.
Steiners,
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Steiners.
those would have been great.
But
Yeah.
there are still, I mean, even all those guys, y'all are twice their size. It seems like.
Yeah,
I mean,
their
from
auras.
what I'm thinking about, in my head right now, they're all. You're just much bigger than them, and you're watching that match, and you're going, "How's this team ever going to do anything?"
You have to
against these
suspend
guys.
your sense of reality for a while. It just
Yeah.
it's
There's
it
no
is what
reason
it
why they
is.
weren't going to last.
But that was like, again, that's what made it so cool, was that these guys are such beasts. They defied logic because we were obviously bigger than a lot bigger than
yeah.
your normal person. Like,
And when y'all got together, did you go, "Man, I know 100% this ain't gonna last long"? Like I
you
know
have
that
to know
this
that.
is gonna be a short run.
Oh, yeah. You have to know that, right?
I think we were having so much fun. Like, we didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to really put thought into it, yeah. I mean, that's not going to go for a whole long period of time. And
You just can't. It's
I mean,
hard
to
to
be
book
truthful, like, you want to be you want to be in the singles picture.
Yeah.
But it was good for me just to recharge my batteries.
That's such an
and
interesting take. I don't think
just
I've ever
take
thought
it
about
easy
that.
on my body.
Because yeah, it
while
does.
having a good time with
helps him wrestle
with
a little
Glenn. It really was. It was fun.
It's still making money too. I mean,
man, it was-
with that type of
Oh,
tag
yeah,
It was
team.
a great time
Yeah.
to watch, especially.
There's
as a
no
fan.
doubt. Yeah, we're making money. We're a draw. We're an attraction.
Yeah.
Just to see the two monsters together. It's like, oh my gosh, who are they going to feed them tonight? I was just one
They're
of my
gonna feed 'em
favorite
tonight.
one of my favorite things that we did. We had a squash match, and I think it was on Raw against High and Tai.
I remember that.
Funaki
There were two little guys.
And, gosh dang it, I can't remember the other guy's name.
I can't remember either.
But anyway, the finish was going to be double last rides, and
Also,
so I go
hot
and
take.
I think it was Funaki. I give Funaki
I'll tell it after this.
a last ride, but when Kane took his,
I remember
guy
this video.
and
Came through
pulled
him.
him up. He went up over his head and went out the back door.
That's such a great
right?
spot.
Went right over the top of him, and it turned into
So, real quick
it just
hot
turned
take.
off the cuff.
I actually prefer the
into an
last ride over
ad-lib
the Tombstone Pile
of
Driver.
me chastising
Let me know what you guys think in the
Kane
comments.
for not being able to do the last ride.
I just
So
prefer
it's big
power
brother
bombs,
telling little brother
especially
how to
with
do this
the
particular
bigger guys.
move, and it turned out to be a funny segment. It was bad for those guys that were in the ring with,
Yeah.
because they had to take several last rides.
So now I got to show you.
Yeah,
how
I got to
do
show you
this.
again. Then they're like, "Oh, no!" Like, sorry guys, this is,
Please.
and everybody was just eating it up in the crowd. So that was a lot of fun, but it just turned into something really spontaneous. Dang it, that's one. I said it.
Oh, just got a
I got a in the jar right there.
Oh, man.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Anyway,
That was
but it turned
almost
into a really, what was going to be a kill segment turned into a funny segment, and me teaching Kane how to do the last ride on Raw was,
that poor tag team
dude,
over
that's
there.
a
Just
long,
That's so
long
funny.
way.
yeah.
It's not just a power bomb. It's the
I like the chill nature
power
of this
bomb
little
position,
podcast.
It's
I'm gonna
a
have to check
full
out more episodes
extension,
of it.
and then the way it's, I almost feel bad for even having that in the repertoire. It's a brain rattler, man. It really is.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Man, That's awesome. But yeah, so I was always a real big fan of the Brothers of Destruction. Like I said before, they were just such a powerhouse, and I think this really opened my eyes because it does make sense because it's so hard to keep something going if you have someone that's just such a powerhouse. Now you think about it, Undertaker, he had the streak, which is the streak at WrestleMania, and that was perfect for him and his aura because he is larger than life. He was such a huge, huge, huge superstar, and in all honesty, so in my rankings of top wrestlers, which I might do a video over at some point, The Rock is my favorite of all time, bar none. I absolutely love The Rock. But my second favorite of all time is The Undertaker. And I didn't mind the Phenom. I didn't mind his Ministry of Darkness. I didn't mind all that. But personally, my favorite gimmick that he ever had, my favorite era of The Undertaker, has always been the American Badass. And I love The Last Ride. I think part of that is just my affinity for motorcycles and stuff like that. So, but this was a great listen. I would urge all of you, if you have not yet, check out that podcast. I'm sure that he probably does like what all the other former wrestlers do and has insane great stories that they tell on their podcasts and stuff. Check out 6 Feet Under. It seems like a pretty chill podcast. I'm gonna have to check it out a little bit more. The only thing that I wasn't really a fan of, I will say, is that it was a little bit dry. But at the end of the day, it's great information, especially on the ins and outs of the world of pro wrestling and stuff. So, with all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed watching along with me, hearing all this stuff, if you guys are fans of the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane, drop down in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button if you do like this video. And then, of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for post notifications. Join up with this community. Let's talk some wrestling, shall we? But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.